Today we are getting controversial. I have accumulated all of your guys' comments asking you guys what are your biggest DTI icks/hot takes. I'll try my best to get through all of them. If not, I mean, hey, a part 2 can always be in the works. And I read most of them, and it seems like we all have very different opinions spanning from how we dress, maybe just some aspects about the DTI community itself, or just the game in general. We're gonna be going through a lot of opinions here. So if you have not already, I would love for you to subscribe and let's just get right into them. Also, I think this goes without saying, but please do not send hate to any of these people or even my opinions, because hey, they are our opinions. No one is right or wrong. So if you disagree, that is fine, but just don't be mean about it, you know? The first ick we're going to be talking about is, my biggest ick is when people use mismatched patterns like black and white stripes, giraffe pattern, and a bright one. Like, girl, it is ugly. And then people just vote them super high because of their higher rank. I think I'm gonna have to agree to an extent. Obviously, if a theme is calling for a bunch of patterns or like something like that, maybe we would call that avant-garde, then I think that's totally fine. I don't really see a problem with it, but I do understand it from a perspective if like the theme is, I don't even know, like clean girl or something. I guess if you're using a bunch of patterns, it's like a bit much for some people. So I do understand that viewpoint. I definitely do agree with the second part where people will just vote others with like a really high rank super high because they have like, I don't even know, like fashion mogul or whatever, because you know this game has like a ranking system. So if you see someone with a higher rank, maybe you think more highly of them. I don't really know, but I totally understand what they're trying to say, is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna read out this next one. It's a bit of a longer one. So it says, with the reveal of the new DTI fashion dolls, my ick is when people constantly make comparisons to Royal High. I've actually never played Royal High in my life, but I've heard how many people migrated from the game to DTI and the controversy surrounding Royal High. I can understand the concerns and where people are coming from, but I just don't think it's fair to assume DTI is going to go down the same route as Royal High. I completely understand that they're upset and that's going around, that there are going to be DLC patterns, especially since they have always been a core part of gameplay, but I also think that patterns serve more as a cosmetic than a necessity, especially since we got amazing patterns in our recent V-Day update. Okay, so I've actually never played Royal High, but I have seen a lot of players, creators, you know, just the community in general, do compare DTI to Royal High. Again, I've never played, so I don't necessarily have a personal say in all that. Obviously, if two games have like really similar aspects or stuff like that, then like it only makes sense that like we as people, we tend to compare, you know? I haven't heard about the potential DLC pattern situation, and coming from someone who has no like DLC codes period, I think I would hate that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like Roblox is generally a kid's game, and you know, not all of us just have the money to specifically to spend on video games. So I understand that frustration that people have just with DLC codes in general. But then again, I also agree that DTI does give us a lot of great patterns, not even just patterns, like even a lot of the more recent makeup faces, just like the default ones, they look super good. A lot of the items in general, like they've really been stepping it up. So it's definitely not a necessity, as this person was saying. But yeah, again, I don't really have much of a say about the whole Royal High DTI comparison situation because I've never played Royal High, but I'm sure you guys have some thoughts about that. And then our next opinion is, not trying to be rude, but people that have custom makeup but don't really know how to use it, like saturated pink shading for eyes on darker skin. Like, does that make sense? Yeah, completely. I totally understand what they're trying to say. I do think, like, let's say you just bought the custom makeup pass, then sure, there is a bit of a learning curve, you know, with the shading and the colors and all that. But I guess if you're going for a more like realistic face or something like that, it can tend to look a bit wonky if you just completely disregard shading and all that, especially for darker skin tones, because I do think a lot of the default colors for like the eyes or the blushes and the shading and all that, they tend to be more towards lighter skin tones. So I do think you gotta be a little careful with that, you know. If you want to make a face that is a darker skin tone, you should pay attention to the shading. But again, I feel like it's all a learning curve. If you just got it, then like, I mean, I get it. I definitely was not good at making custom makeup faces when I first started doing them. Even if you look back at my old custom makeup face tutorials, like, or at least for me, when I look back at them, I'm like, girl, that looks so bad. So, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. The next one I'm seeing is, my biggest ick is when people in master servers wear a bunch of items calling it layering with dull patterns even when it has nothing to do with the theme. I think they're giving a personal example. Like, don't get me wrong, the fit was pretty, but it was not giving ice cream date. And then I think they're just saying like, if a player doesn't have a super detailed fit, then they won't get voted fairly. And then they end it off with, there's a reason why there's a theme. I think I have to agree with this one again. Like, I feel like even in my videos, I'll see some fire fits, but it's not the theme, you know? And sure, we have our moments where we just do freestyle because we don't love the theme, but we still want to stay in the round. Like, I totally get that if they mention that they were just doing freestyle. But again, if that is the case, then I wouldn't necessarily vote that person super high because they're still not doing the theme. And yeah, then that's unfair to the people who were doing the theme. Just talking about like the general DTI gameplay, we should be following the theme. So yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Okay, we're going into one that I feel like I see pretty often. One of my biggest icks are people who literally use the darkest skin tones ever seen and then use a white base as makeup. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a fashion game, but it kind of seems racist. Also, I hate those people who do, and I mean do, an ethereal or build to impress outfit every single freaking theme, even though the theme has no relation to those outfits. Okay, I'm not gonna laugh about it. It's definitely like a touchy subject for a lot of people, I think. I think me personally, you will never see me do that. I do see people who will have a darker skin tone and then have like a completely white face. I feel like it makes sense for very specific themes, or even in free play if you're going for like a really specific type of look and you acknowledge that, you know. But yeah, I do think it could come off the wrong way in a lot of situations. I do agree with the second part as well, where it says people who just make ethereal fits or just have like crazy item adjustment for themes that have nothing to do with those kind of outfits. Like, well, I think me personally, I just don't love ethereal fits. Like, for me, I'm just really bad at making them, so I don't really do those. I feel like I used to see that a lot more, maybe like last year in like the spring, summer, when ethereal fits were like really popular. I feel like a lot of people were doing that. I feel like I don't think I see it as often now, but yeah, it just like doesn't make sense if you're going completely off theme. Ooh, okay, we're going into more gameplay aspects of DTI, and this person says, new kinds of currency all the time. Like, I get it if it was a one-time thing, but it wasn't. Like, in the summer update we had shells, Halloween update candy, Christmas update snowflakes, and now Valentine's update we have hearts or candy, I don't know. And also that they removed the obby from the lobby. Okay. I feel like when the new kinds of currency first came out in the summer update, I was kind of like, oh, what the heck is this new thing? I think for me personally, I didn't see it as anything too crazy because a lot of games do have like two different currencies. The only example coming to my head is Marvel Rivals. But there's a lot of games do that. But I do understand what they're saying, especially because, well, I think it's less now, or actually I'm not sure, but I remember a lot of people would complain. I think it was especially during the Halloween update, and I agree with this, where it was kind of like there was no point of having the pink cash currency at all because everything was the candy currency. I think that was pretty unnecessary. Like, I think it's fine to have two types of currencies if they both have a purpose, you know? I mean, yeah, it is a bit frustrating trying to get the candy currency, because at least for right now in the Valentine's update, you have to do the flower shop thing, and it does get pretty like tedious, I guess. And there's also the daily quest where you can get the currency as well. But you know, sometimes we don't always have time to just play the game, you know? So I do think a lot of us end up missing out on a lot of the new items sometimes, which can be pretty frustrating. Ooh, okay. This next one. This person said, my hot take is that ever since the Christmas update, we have been forgetting to vote. This applies for some people, by the way. Like, I was in a server and I got second place with a 4 that ate the house down, and I got 14 stars, so I think we should start normalizing voting fairly and not voting based on if you want to win yourself. I completely agree. Even in some of my more recent videos, even if I'm on the podium, I am getting like 10 stars, which is a bit gnarly if you ask me, because like, I think voting is one of the most important aspects to this game. We're dressing up to walk the runway for other players to vote. I feel like, I mean, obviously I see it more often in maybe like regular servers or pro servers, but even in master servers, I feel like lately we all vote so low. I think the standard that I used to see was like master servers. I feel like if I was on the podium, I would at least get like 30 stars. Now, like, I'd be lucky if I got 30 stars. And also, not voting doesn't get you on the podium, like, or I don't think so. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of players would do that. Because again, obviously we all want to get on the podium, but voting everyone 1 star isn't necessarily going to get you on the podium, I feel like. Guys, let's start voting, you know? Even if you don't like the outfit, okay, if you don't like the outfit, sure, vote 1 star. But, like, come on. Okay, this next person is talking about the game in general. They say, this might just be me, but it's just not super fun anymore. With the updates and new items, I found that I've just not been as excited. I used to have real bad FOMO when it came to limited items, but now there's just nothing keeping me interested. Voting in servers, aside from master servers, are usually trash. And now even it's not always good in master servers. And they're saying like, sorry to yap, which is like, girl, it's fine. Like, if we're here to talk about our opinions. Nothing ever seems good enough for people, and with that chat being gone, it's just sad and kind of lonely. I think I'm gonna have to agree. I did write a community post recently where I was feeling pretty burnt out just playing this game. Well, I mean, there were outside factors. Obviously, like, as a content creator, you know, I get burnt. Like, playing this game kind of feels like work sometimes. I think in the moment, like specifically when there's new updates and all that, like, yeah, I'll be super excited and I want to play the game and explore all the new items and aspects. And I think for me, even if like when there are limited items, I try to just buy them all anyway for like content creating purposes. But like, if I was just playing for fun, I definitely wouldn't feel the need to get every single secret item or like limited item. And yeah, again, the voting. And I think this is the last one where this person says they have a few, but they'll do their top 3. So number 1, we kind of talked about it a little bit already. I think they're trying to say like, if you do crazy item adjustment plus messy layering. Number 2, beggars and people with Robux, but still asking for Game Pass / having 1 or 2 and ask for more. And number 3, people who pretend to be hackers. Okay, again, I do think, especially when we were doing like the ethereal fits, messy layering was like, that was the move. Everyone was doing messy layering. I do think the trend now is a lot more of a clean layering style. I personally love clean layering right now, but hey, I mean, I'll be honest, I was a victim to messy layering. You know, trends come and go. Who knows? Maybe we'll start doing messy layering again and we'll all love it. But yeah, especially now, clean layering seems to be what a lot of people are going for. And yeah, I think me personally, if I see someone on the runway who has super messy layering, I don't think I would vote them super high. Well, I mean, it also depends on the theme, but you know. And I completely agree with this next one. People who beg for game passes or Robux or anything like that. Honestly, it's so annoying, especially if you're like in free play, because you know, I be spending hours in free play when I'm creating content or whatever, and I'll just be hanging out and I'll see the freaking chat going a million miles per hour because the same girl or whoever is going around the entire lobby asking everyone for custom makeup or a game pass or whatever. And honestly, I've seen that work for some people. Like, I guess, like a player will be feeling super nice that day and will gift game passes. But for the most part, most of us are just trying to play the game, you know? And like, girl, ask your parents. I don't know. Like, I mean, when I see those types of players like come up to me personally, I honestly just ignore them. I'm not even trying to be mean. It's just like, well, one, girl, if I don't have that game pass, what makes you think I would give you that game pass? Like, I don't have that kind of money either. And it's just like, it's just annoying, honestly. Like, just to say it how it is, it's annoying. So stop doing that. And then the third one where they said people who pretend to be hackers. I don't think I've run into that many people who do that. I definitely seen it like in videos, and I think maybe it's happened to me like once or twice, maybe. Or people who actually do hack the game. Like, you're just ruining it for everybody. I don't know why you're doing that. Like, girl, stop, you know? Oh, and then I have this one comment from TikTok where they said, my biggest ick is when people are so mean in chat talking trash about other people's outfits and then they come out looking like a mess. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I feel like, well, I do think the chat, like the problems with the chat is definitely not as apparent anymore because we are chat restricted now. It's definitely annoying, and yeah, it's just like mean. Because it doesn't matter who you're talking to. Like, you could be talking to a kid, you could be talking to someone my age or whatever. It's just not nice, you know? But I think for me, in my head, when I see people being rude in the chat or whatever, I'm like, girl, they're just rage baiting. Especially if they're talking trash and then they come out on the runway looking like trash. I'm like, okay, they're just rage baiting me. Like, so I think I tend to ignore those kind of players, but I completely understand. It is just really mean. Like, go do that elsewhere. This is not the game for you if you're gonna act that way. Okay, and with that, I think I got through all of them. If I missed your comment, I am so sorry. You can let me know, and I don't know, maybe in the comments of this video, if I get any more opinions, icks, hot takes, all the above, I can always make another one if you guys would like. Again, please don't take this video super seriously. I'm not trying to stir up any drama or like cause any issues, you know? I feel like with any community, we all have our different opinions. And you know, some of these are like honestly really real issues in a gaming community. And I do think it's important to acknowledge some of them, you know? But either way, take this with a grain of salt. Please, no hate to anybody. Because these are our opinions and we're going to be respectful, right? Right, okay. But I think that will be all from me today. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And I will be back soon with hopefully some more fun content for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, goodbye!